What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Landlord Chronicles. And in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how to, within minutes, repair scratches, cracks, and holes in your walls. Whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a tenant, eventually it's going to happen. Accidentally, on purpose, whatever the case may be. You're going to scratch, you're going to crack, you're going to put a hole in the wall, or it just may happen by wear and tear. Either way, I'll show you guys a simple strategy to fix that scratch, crack, or a small hole within minutes. So listen up, I'll show you guys how it's done. Any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section. If this video was able to help you in any way, like it, share it out to others. Either way, I'm going to be showing you guys an effective strategy. Alright, so let me start out by letting you guys know the materials that I'm going to be using to get this repair done. We're going to be using three things. Number one, that patch and paint lightweight spackling compound. This is very cheap, very cost efficient, and it gets the job done very, very quick. I got this from Home Depot. You can get it from Amazon, eBay, Lowe's, whatever hardware store is local to you. You'll be able to get something very similar to this, but what you're going to be looking at is spackling, right? And you're going to be looking at compound, spackling compound. If you see this one, this is the one that I always use. It works very well, gets the job done in minutes. Also, I get a variety pack. This cost me about maybe $2.70 at my local Home Depot. They give you different types of plastic taping knives. So what you can do is, if you unwrap it, you'll see that you get three different sizes. Sometimes for your smaller holes and scratches, you can use this to spread the compound over it. Medium size, you can use this. Larger ones, you can use this. Very cheap, and you know, they're plastic, but you can easily wash them off and reuse them. Very durable as well. They're not going to break easily. Last but not least, you're going to need some type of sanding sponge or some type of sandpaper. And the reason why you're going to need this is because after you put the solution, sometimes if you put too much solution and you don't wipe it off carefully or scrape it down to the surface level, you're going to have a raised finished product. So after it dries, you're going to want to use the sanding sponge to try to get the area as neat and as smooth as possible. So you have your spackling compound, you have your taping knives, and you have your sanding block. See these two holes right here? Oftentimes, these will look familiar to those people who have cable service installed within their homes or apartments. Usually, whatever box or dish is located outside the house, cable wires are ran right into your house or your apartment, and you're going to notice a lot of holes like these. If you're a tenant, your landlord may actually pursue your security deposit or a part of it just to pay for what it's going to cost to fix these, to pretty much to repair these holes. So what I'm going to show you how to do is within minutes, pretty much to guarantee that you keep that security deposit and you're going to fix this hole like brand new. What we're going to do is we're going to start by selecting the proper size equipment. We're going to use this right here. We have our patch and paint lightweight spackling solution, very light. We're going to open it up. And now we're ready to go. First things first, when you look at these holes, you want to make sure that your final product is as smooth as possible. So you want to make sure you take your sanding block and you want to make sure whatever surface imperfections around the hole are gone. So it's as flush as possible. And what you want to do is you want to take a little bit of the solution and you want to cover the entire hole. Depending on how big the hole, the scratch, or whatever crack is in the wall, you might have to use a little bit more solution. do not be afraid to use as much as necessary in order to cover that hole up. Any extras or anything that falls, just have some type of napkin or tissue to get up. Just a little bit more on it. Just to try to smooth it out. And that's it. You're done. That simple. You're going to wait maybe about 10, 15, or depending on how much solution you use. That's the amount of minutes that you're going to wait until it actually dries. Once it's dry, if you notice that it's a little bubbly, if you use too much, right? If it's raised above the surface, you can just go through a light sanding with a sanding sponge, and you're done. This will always typically be white, the spackling solution. If your wall is a different color, what you're going to have to do is find that pink color match, and then you can, after you sand it down, paint over it, and you're done. Let's try another one. All right, so here we have another hole in the wall. This was actually created when the cable company ran wires from their box inside this apartment, and you can actually see the wires, which are cut, still protruding from the actual hole. So even though I cut the wire, you can still see this. What I'm going to advise you guys to do, if this is the case for you, just push them as far back as possible. Now, we're going to take more of our lightweight spackling compound. Using the appropriate size tool, we're going to just push as much of this in this hole as possible. Until we get to the point where we have a smooth outer surface with no more hole apparent. And we're done. How long did that take? Not even a minute. I'm telling you, this stuff is very lightweight and it dries quickly. And as I said, if you're a tenant and you're leaving the apartment like this, you can't blame the cable company. The landlord is still most likely going to pursue you because he or she would actually still have to cover up these holes. You can do it yourself, and that took less than a minute. Also, too, the reason why you want to make sure this is done, because those holes that lead from outside to inside the house, and vice versa, pretty much what they're going to do is they're going to allow pests from the outside to enter right through those holes. It took less than a minute, less than a half a minute, just to fix this. Let me show you guys another one. All right, so now we're taking a look at this kitchen wall. We actually have three things going on here. Something was knocked into it right here, and you can see it's kind of a medium-sized hole in the wall. Don't know what was knocked into it, but it created quite the impression. Over here, before I painted this wall, I actually pulled screws out right here, and I pulled a screw out right here. The previous tenants in this unit, they actually used screws to hold up a pitcher, and there was a pitcher right here. So we have 1, 2, we have 3 impressions in this wall. This is an inward hole, so this is going to be kind of, kind of standard. Just fill it in, but you just want to make sure with anything inward, you make sure there's no loose dust or loose materials that may make it hard for the spackling solution to go into it. Also, for these holes right here, they're actually protruding out a little bit from when I took the screw out. Just make sure that before you get to using a solution, you kind of make sure you relieve any kind of loose material. So nothing should be sticking out. If you see something sticking out, you have to make sure that you go over it carefully, so that way it's nothing protruding out. It's an inward hole for you to stuff the spackling material in. Same thing right here. And pretty much you can use a knife. What I'm using is a flathead screwdriver. because anytime you pull something out like a nail or a screw, it tends to pull a little bit of the wall out with it. Just make sure everything is going inward before you use the spackling solution. Open it up. Use the appropriate knife. Right here, pretty standard. Push it in. And just make sure you cover the entire hole. And any excess, you pull right back off with the knife. So even if that means you got to go over it a couple times, what you want to do is you want to make sure it looks like a uniform surface. And sometimes it takes a little practice, got to work on the technique. But as soon as you get it, you're done. Work with this just a little bit more. Okay. This looks great. Starting to look great, I should say. Right. Uniform. Once that dries, if it doesn't look the same exact tone as the wall, then what you have to do is you have to understand that this color is not matching the wall. You just got to go, once it dries, go over it with the original paint that you used on the wall. We're going to use a little bit less here because this is a smaller hole. Just jam it all in there, make it smooth. And just remember that once it dries, you can actually use that opportunity to paint it so that way it looks just like one solid surface and you won't see the holes being filled with spackling solution. That's that. We're done. Guys, this is very easy. So let me just give you some tips just to make sure you understand. This should not take more than a couple of minutes. This is a very simple thing to do. You're going to use this spackling solution. Once you get rid of any dirt or dust or debris, once you make sure that whatever hole, the surface of the hole, there's no material jutting out, you're going to smooth all of that off. Pack the material in with the appropriate knife. Let it dry. And if you need to do any more work, it's either you have to sand it down. If you use too much material initially, just sand it down to a smooth, uniform surface. And if need be, that's when you paint. So in this video, I showed you guys how you can in minutes fill any cracks, holes, or any scratches in the wall with 3 simple materials: with your taping knives, with your patch and paint spackling solution, and with the sanding sponge. Just a couple of other things for those of you whose spackling solution does not match the same color as the wall. You're going to have to figure out what color your wall is. Ultimately, you can, if you're the homeowner and you know it and you have it already, fine, just get the paint and paint it. If you're a homeowner or a tenant and you don't know what the color of the wall is, you don't have any paint, sometimes you're just going to have to just take a chip of the paint off to your local hardware store and they're able to match up the color, buy that paint, and paint it back on. Ultimately, what you have is, with 3 simple tools, you're able to patch up, to repair any small cracks, small holes, or scratches in walls. For larger holes, there's a different technique involved altogether. If this video is able to help you, please like it. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, leave them in the comments section. If you know anyone who can use this help, please share the video out and show your support to the channel by subscribing. Landlord Chronicles. Till the next episode.